Hey guys, so it's been a while since I've done like any book review, let alone a video book review, but that is what this video is going to be. Just finished reading Abe Lincoln Grows Up by Sandburg yesterday at school, so that is the book that I will be reviewing in this video. I think I bought this book this summer. It's when we went to Lincoln Boyhood State Park, because we did that at some point. There are videos on my channel, but I'm not entirely sure when it was. It might have been like last spring or something. But at some point in time we went, and I got this in the gift shop there. For those of you who don't know what that is, it's where the Lincoln family lived when they lived in Indiana. Abraham Lincoln spent most of his childhood there, and it's about half an hour away from my house. It's I actually live in the county that he was in, which was something really cool about this book. This book is, Sandburg wrote a biography on Abraham Lincoln. I don't know when. It's like an older biography of him. And 1926 is when the original biography was published. And it was 2 volumes. And this is the first part of that biography. The little introduction thing here, the publisher's note, says that this is supposed to be the first 27 chapters of that biography, but if you go back here to the back, it's chapter 26, and there is no 27, so I don't know what that's about, but it is basically Abraham Lincoln's childhood, and it cuts off, not right after they get to Illinois, but pretty soon after they get to Illinois. It cuts off whenever he leaves his dad and stepmom's house and goes to live on his own and all of that. That's when it cuts off. So the very beginning of the book, obviously his birth and everything in Kentucky, and then the moving to Indiana. What's really cool about this book is they lived in the county I live in. It actually wasn't the county I lived in at the time, because it was part of another county and then it got split and became my county. But so they mentioned my county by name in here a lot, and my town is the county seat. I'm completely giving away where I live right now if you look up where Abraham Lincoln lived, but my town is the county seat, and it's a very small town, but at this point in time it was an important town because it was a port on the Ohio River. And, I mean, we still are a port on the Ohio River, but not for anything incredibly important. And so, we're mentioned in here a couple of times, along with, like, other bigger towns in the area, so that was really cool. I'd, like, completely fangirled over that, because I've never seen my town mentioned in a book before, so that was pretty neat. As for the actual book, according to this, like, publisher's note, the reason they did this was kind of to appeal to kids, because like the publisher's note talks about how most kids would relate more to Abraham Lincoln as a child and his adult political life, and so they took the first chapters of the biography and marketed it towards kids so kids could read about Abraham Lincoln's childhood, and that's what this book is. I do really like the cover with the like flatboats and everything. I think it's a really pretty cover. I did really enjoy this book. For being a biography, it really is pretty much told like a story, and I really do like the way it's written. It's not like a boring biography or anything, and I do think that a lot of kids would enjoy this more than just the usual biography, because I think it's more of a story form, kind of, if that makes any sense. But they do use a lot of quotes of, like, people said this and everything, but, like, I just happened to open up to this, but this little thing right here, which talks about the one quote that's in here. And then it says, throughout this work, conversational utterances are based word for word on sources deemed authentic. So, like, any of the quotes that they have in here, they've, like, checked for authenticity, So there are like a lot of random quotes throughout here. So that's cool. I think that adds like a neat aspect and kind of helps it seem more like a story at certain points. I think the only negative thing I really have about this book is it seemed like sometimes they would just go off on random tangents that had nothing to do with Abraham Lincoln, and some of them were really interesting, but it just wasn't what I was expecting because it's a book about Abraham Lincoln. And then they started talking about the corrupt bargain, which was really cool because I started reading that, and like the next day in AP US History we started talking about the corrupt bargain. But anyway, I mean, it's talking about how he's learning all this stuff about American history and like reading all the books. I mean, we've all heard about how he like educated himself with books, but he didn't actually have much formal schooling. And it's talking about that, and it kind of tells you what he's reading about. Like, he read about this person, and this person did this. And then it goes off on this whole long thing about, like, history and what he's reading, and basically telling you everything he's supposedly learning, which was cool for me because I'm, like, a history nerd and stuff, but it really had nothing to do with Abraham Lincoln, and so it was just kind of, like, randomly in there. Like, towards the end, like I said, they started just talking about the corrupt bargain, because like this was going on, he was reading about it in newspapers and all of that, and so it just randomly goes off on the corrupt bargain and starts talking about that, like right here. As you can see, it says Clay, Webster, Calhoun, and then rough politics like on top of the page. So that was just kind of like a random thing in the book that wasn't necessarily bad, but I don't really understand why they were there. I think they're kind of there to show you that he like keeps up with what's going on. He's interested in politics, but I don't think it was necessary to go on as long as they did. One cool thing about this book is there are like pictures throughout it. Like I said, I really love this cover, and I don't know who did this because I don't see, yeah, they do, it says cover illustration by Glenn Harrington, but I don't know if he did all the pictures in, well, I don't know if he or she, I don't know if it's a guy or a girl, but I don't know who did all of the illustrations in here, but there are a lot of them, like this one of them dancing, and that's another thing they did with the like going off on rants. Like, here they start saying, among the games played at parties by the young people in Indiana was the farm classic Skip to My Lou, which tells of a little red wagon painted blue, and then it goes on and describes Skip to My Lou, and then it has, like, all of the lyrics to Skip to My Lou, and like, other songs. So it just goes and starts listing all these songs, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but I don't think it was necessary, if that makes sense. I don't know if anything I'm saying makes sense, but so overall I enjoyed the book, but I did think that there were a lot of unnecessary information that wasn't about Abraham Lincoln throughout the book. Like, half the time it didn't even feel like I was reading a biography on Abraham Lincoln. It was just like Indiana at this time period and things that were popular and things that were going on in politics at the time and stuff like that. But overall, I did enjoy the book, and being a history nerd, and I'm not gonna lie, it being about the exact place that I grew up at that time period was pretty cool, because this is actually like what people who are living where I'm living now were doing at this time. So I definitely think that was cool. But overall, I enjoyed it, and I would recommend this if you're at all interested about Abraham Lincoln or that time period or history or whatever. I will see you guys later. Bye.